What up, all you worship peoples? Thanks so much for joining me. I'm Nate Meist, and I love equipping worship leaders with helpful and encouraging content. And today, we're going to be looking at the easy way to play the 4 most common worship chords. Let's get into it. So before we get into today's video, don't forget that you can vote for content down below in the comments. I'd love to hear from you guys about what you'd like me to cover next, whether that is another song tutorial or a specific band or a specific thing about worship leading that you'd like me to cover. I've been doing this for about 20 years now, so I know some things, and I'd love to just pass on those things to whoever it could help. So I want to hear from you guys. Leave a comment down below. Vote for future content. Alright, so before I show you guys the easy way to play these 4 very common chords in worship, I'm going to throw in an additional tip here at the beginning of the video. I'm going to be showing you these chords in the key of G. Alright, and here's the thing. Not every song is performed in the key of G, obviously. So here's what you can do. Using the same exact chord shapes and positions that I'm about to show you, and using a capo, you can play in 5 additional keys. And I'm going to show you those keys now. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is put our capo on the first fret. The frets are these silver bars that are lining your fretboard on the guitar neck. Okay, so when you put your capo on the first fret and you play in the G position, you'll be playing in the key of G sharp or A flat. Move the capo up another fret and now you're in the key of A with the G position. Move your capo up another fret to fret number 3 and now you're in the key of A sharp or B flat. Move your capo up to fret number 4, and now you're in the key of B. It's a pretty common worship key. And move your capo up 1 more fret to fret number 5, and now you're in the key of C. Another very common worship key, and using the G position. And wherever you get your chord charts, you would download it in the key of G, and you would just have your capo on one of these frets and you'll be in that specific key using the same chord positions and shapes that I'm about to show you. Alright, so let's get into these 4 chords. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your pinky and place it on the 3rd fret of the top string, and take your ring finger and place it on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. So now you have these 2 notes being played by your ring finger and your pinky finger. And when I say frets as it relates to finger placement, I'm talking about the space before each fret. So this first silver bar is the 1st fret, but when I say put your finger there, I'm talking about the space before that fret. So now you have your ring finger and pinky finger on these notes up here, and we're going to keep those there for all 4 chords. Okay? So here's our first chord. This is the G chord. And this is the easiest way to play this chord. Some people play it like this. Some people play it like this. But this is the easiest way to play it. Now the important thing to remember here is that my middle finger is actually muting the 2nd string. You can see that there's no note being played by that string. And you want to keep it that way. Just don't let that note make any sound. So that's our first easy way to play this chord, the chord of G. This is probably the most common chord in all of worship music. Don't forget that you can always pause the video and study the chord diagrams that I have up here in this upper right hand corner and really see the finger placement for each chord. All right, with our fingers, our anchor notes still there, we're going to go to our next chord, and this is the chord of C. And this is the easiest way to play this chord. You still got your anchor notes up here, and now you have your middle finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. And the important thing for this chord is you want to mute the bottom string now. And I am doing that with my thumb currently. So my thumb is wrapping around the guitar neck, and it's just gently laying over that string so that it doesn't vibrate and produce noise. This is also nice because if you want to strum all the strings and not worry about it sounding bad, you want to keep that string muted. And then you can just strum all the strings and not worry about it. This chord is sometimes played like this, or like this, but the easiest way to play it is like this. And if you want to get technical, this is actually a C2 chord, but it still works as just a normal C chord. Alright, we are moving on to our 3rd most common worship chord, and that is the chord of D. So with our anchor notes still in place up here, we're going to take our index finger and put it on the 2nd fret of the 4th string, and then we're going to play the top 4 strings. As the first 2 chords that I showed you, the most important thing here is the muting of the strings that you don't want played. And in this case, it's the bottom 2 strings. Strings 1 and 2, you don't want those ringing out. So what I've done is I have gently laid my thumb up here over those strings so that they don't ring out. You can also just start your strum. Might be a little bit more challenging, but you can start your strum on the 3rd string so that you don't even have to worry about playing those strings. But if you want to just play all the strings and not worry about it, it's nice just to have those strings up there or down here muted so that you don't have to worry about them ringing out. But that is the easiest way to play the D chord. It's commonly played like this. But just to make it easy with those anchor notes, we can play it like this and it sounds just fine. This is technically a D sus chord. Alright, and our 4th most common worship chord that you will find is an E minor. So once again, with our anchor notes still in place, we are going to place our index finger on the 2nd fret of the 2nd string. And then you're going to play all the notes. All the notes, all the strings, you're going to play them all. And that's the easiest way to play the E minor chord. This technically is an E minor 7. This chord can also be played like this. But the easiest way, like I said, is just to maintain those anchor notes and have your index finger on that 2nd fret of the 2nd string. And those are the 4 most common chords that you will find in worship music and the easiest way to play them. Now let me show you something cool using those anchor notes. When you play all those chords back to back with those anchor notes, it's extremely easy. You're only moving your positioning just a little, changing your fingers here and there. It's not complicated whatsoever. A little pro tip for practicing these chords. whenever you're just sitting in front of the TV watching a show, just have your guitar and just go through the chords again and again. So just, you're sitting on the couch, watching whatever, you're binging Netflix, and you're just going through these chords. And pretty soon your fingers are going to get used to the positioning, and you'll be able to transition really quickly between each chord. If you do that, every day for like 15 minutes, you're going to have these chords down in no time. I was trying to think of a song that I could show you guys as an example using these chord shapes. But I thought of Josh Baldwin's song Evidence, which I'm currently doing in church. It's an amazing song, but if you play the chorus using these same positions, it sounds great. I'm going to show you now. This is what it would look like. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I see the evidence of your goodness all over my life, all over my life. I see your promises in fulfillment all over my life, all over my life. And you can see that was super easy for me to pull off because of those anchor notes and the positioning, and I just sailed right through that chorus. So that is our worship tutorial for today, guys. That is the easiest way to play the 4 most common chords in worship music. That was for the G position. Maybe I'll make a C position one in the future. If you'd like to see that, comment down below and let me know. But I hope that this video helped you guys. If it did, why don't you give it a like and maybe even subscribe so that you don't miss future worship tutorials. I'll see you guys in the next one.